Welcome to Transformation Thursday, where we not only transform your life, we transform your business. And today's topic is going to be about revamping your business and preparing for the new season, as we just started the new catalog for spring summer 2021 on February 1st. And I'm so glad to have Vickie and Trina back. They both have been affected by COVID and they're both recovering in their own ways. So I'm glad to have our whole crew back. But Jackie's going to start us off today, and we're just going to kind of have a discussion on how to revamp from different perspectives.
Happy new catalog season. I don't know about you guys, but I get excited. I mean, I know a lot of us were excited to get rid of 2020 and like go into a new year. And that's usually like when all the excitement happens. But for me, it's really about a new catalog. And I think that there's something about a new catalog that just screams like refresh. And I don't know why. Maybe because, I mean, the catalog, hello, it looks beautiful. The way that they've done all of the illustrations and put things together. They've made little updates on our website. So if you haven't looked at your website lately, definitely take a look at that. But I think it's a great reminder for us to be able to take that step back and refresh, revamp, change things as needed. It's one of my favorite times. But so obviously one of my favorite words is the word pivot, because I think that in this business, we really have the opportunity to, as our own boss, right? We have the opportunity to change things as needed. So being able to pivot when we find that something's not working is great. So with a new catalog, there's new opportunities. And I like to take the time to really just kind of look over my branding. I will even have my husband, who doesn't really get too involved with things, right? But I will even have him like, look at my Facebook fan page for me. Tell me what you think, just looking at it, right? Because he hardly ever pays attention to those details. And it's just so I can get like that fresh perspective. Like, does that make sense? Does that look like it all flows? Does that look like it's my branding? Like, whatever. And so it kind of gives me the opportunity to just kind of give it a little bit of a facelift every so often. So this is a great time to define or reevaluate your why. And I know that we talk about your why a lot in this business, and your why is your reason for working the business, right? Or it should be. So if you really don't have a defined why you are working this business, this is a great time to sit down and really think about that. Why are you doing this? Why did you join? If you're, newer, it's why did you join? Why did you start this? What made you feel compelled to start this journey? And maybe it started off like it did for me, and it was like a little hobby. Mine turned from a hobby to a side hustle to a full-time income, right? There are a lot of changes in there. And so my why has changed a lot over the years. And when you have a reason for doing something, that really is something that is going to help drive you with your motivation. So that's going to be your driving force to, yeah, I know I worked at the job for 8 hours today. I'm exhausted, but I want to do some Scentsy work today. Maybe send out some samples or do some follow-up when I get home before I start dinner. That used to be my life. And that was like something I looked forward to. And that's what motivated me, because if I didn't look forward to it, if I didn't enjoy what I did, then I would have gone home and maybe just binge watch something on the TV, made dinner, go to bed, right? And all of that wouldn't ever have turned into what it is today. So if you're really in this to be, whether it's that side hustle, maybe it's that extra money for whatever it is, please see the income disclosure, but you have to make your why important and give it a purpose, because that's what's going to help give you the reason to work. If you're having a hard time with sales and with sponsoring, pivot, right? If something's not working, change it. That's your opportunity. Again, you're your own boss. You get to call the shots when it comes to your business. So if you're talking to your sponsor and you're like, hey, I've been asking everybody and nobody wants to host a party. All right, well, it's time to try something new, right? If you have been trying to get somebody to join your team and you're like, I've asked everybody and nobody wants to join my team, it's time to try a different way, right? We don't just give up. We have to learn to pivot and look for a different way or a different perspective to do something. Change is a natural thing in life. Hello, 2020. And you have to recognize that the same thing kind of goes with our business, right? When life changes, when your schedule changes, right? We build our businesses around our lives, hopefully, not the other way around. And so when things change, you may need to change the way you work your business. That's when you have the opportunity to refresh things and make those changes. You're going to grow with your business. And one thing that I really, really try to instill is when you kind of find your brand or your voice or your authentic self when it comes to your business, then you really just need to be able to dial into that and know that there's probably going to be some times that you have to edit your business. There may be times where you're like, yeah, everything was going great. And then all of a sudden, maybe your engagement drops or something changes, right? What happened? What was the changing force? Maybe again, you need to try something new, or maybe you got a little bit off brand, right? Maybe you got stuck with, if it, especially if it's on Facebook, right? Maybe you got, into posting more things outside of Scentsy that people were like, I'm not here for that, right? I follow her because I like her Scentsy or I like this, right? We need to sometimes edit ourselves. So that's what we really have to do in our business. And that kind of rolls us into marketing, right? So when the catalog changed and I saw the front of the catalog, I instantly was like, oh, look at this. It's so cute, right? It's so cute. And I have always along the years, and I was for a while, I have to try and dig them out, but you should see, I will tell you that with Scentsy, our marketing has, oh my gosh. Some of you who are newer, you may look back at like an older catalog and be like, wow, how in the world did anybody even want to buy those things, right? Like the catalogs were not like what they are now. Let's put it that way. They are much cuter. They're more on brand and trendy and really just current, right? You feel a fresh feeling, especially if you've been looking at a catalog for so long, like we were with our fall and winter, when you see the new catalog, you instantly are just like, look at all the cool new stuff. Look at how they did this. Look at the colors they used with this. So, kind of being able to take that excitement that you're feeling and then pouring that into your business. How can you freshen things up, right? You don't necessarily have to make your brand look like the catalog, but maybe it's time to give it a little bit of a change, polish it up, right? The same way we like to go get our hair cut or color our hair or maybe get our nails done or whatever, right? Sometimes it's time to do the same thing with our business and our branding when it comes to marketing. Um, and I always will tell you that the best way to find inspiration is to simply surround yourself with like-minded people. And especially on social media, if there's other consultants out there, regardless if it's your sponsor or your team or upline or downline, whatever, if you're finding inspiration from other consultants, don't copy them, but at the same time, take that as your inspiration. Go, how can I take what they're doing? I love how cute that is, or I love the colors they're using, but how can I take that and make it me? How can I put me into that and come up with something that really kind of opens my eyes, that makes me go, wow, I love that, right? So think about what you enjoy, the things that you like to do, and the things that you love about Scentsy, and then go from there and kind of see what you can pull from for that inspiration. And then when it comes to branding, of course, you really want to, if you're refreshing, if you're revamping, if you're updating things, right, you really want to make sure that you're doing it across all your platforms. And Vickie was talking about this right before we started, and she'll probably talk about this a little bit, so I won't go into too much detail, but just making sure that when you are making those refreshes, that you're doing it across the board, because that's again going to help you get recognized on the different platforms. So revamping, refreshing, pivoting, I love it all. This is my jam. Um, that's what I got for you guys today. So take a moment to refresh yourself and have some fun with the new catalog.
Do you want me to go next? Okay, so first of all, let me just kind of explain. I was in the hospital for 11 days with COVID pneumonia. I'm home now with oxygen. I'm recovering nicely. Don't worry about me. I am so happy to be back in my office doing what I love. So I'm just fine. Okay, so I was in the hospital when my catalogs arrived here, and I couldn't touch them. I couldn't see them. I couldn't wait to get home. And when I saw this catalog, let me tell you, I needed happy feelings. This catalog is absolutely adorable. So when I wanted to refresh my business, because like Jackie was saying, I do it every catalog season. I refresh everything, like everything was fall, winter before. But when I looked at this, I was like, all I saw was this. So this is basically my branding. This is something I mailed out to my customers, but I have this blank. Okay. So what I did with it on Canva is I used basically from the purple down. I used it for my Facebook banner on my, I'm sorry, I have COVID brain. It's very slow. Sorry. On my regular Facebook page. Yeah. And my business page. What I did was I put my name, I put all my, my information, and I made that my picture. So those are standard. So if you go to my business page and my Facebook page, they look the same. And that way people know, oh, that's Vickie. I also put it as my banner on my YouTube page. And then all my new videos that I'm making now are like, it'll say unboxing, Samson the snow leopard, but it's all this. So like I changed my branding because it's fun. It's, very spring, summer. So it could be very simple, you guys. You don't have to like overthink. Just get inspired by something that you love. And look at my little stickers, how cute. I put myself on everything, but I have like the little rainbow here. So I kind of did that theme. But yeah, you don't have to overthink it, but definitely like Jackie said, you want to make it across all of your platforms so that no matter where people go, they know where to find you. They know it's you. Someone's actually at my door, so I'm going to get going because that's pretty much everything for me. I'll be back, but I'm done talking.
I'm going to go ahead and go next. Do you have any questions or anything, Trina? I know that. Or do you want to wait? Okay. I'm going to go. I guess I'll go ahead and go. I just didn't want to interrupt if you wanted to ask anything or.
I'll ask questions at the end.
Okay, well, that works. Hey, we're finding our flow today, guys. This is we're getting back into the groove of things since everybody's getting back. But, so my outlook on this is going to be a little bit different. Because I know many of you have probably recently come back to Scentsy and was a consultant at one point, and then you left for whatever reasons that you left, and then now you're back. If that's you, then my part's going to probably be for you. It took us 6 times for that magical light bulb to go off and say, oh, well, this can really be something. So I know what it's like to have to stop and start a business all over again, because for some reason it didn't hit me until the 6th time that I was like, I'm not rebuilding this again. Not doing it. We're either doing this all or nothing kind of thing. And here we are. So with that being said, each of those times that I was a consultant, I wasn't really like consistent in creating an identity for our brand. Like we've always been C&K fragrance, because my husband and I do it together, and we were original. We went the first letters of our names and put it together, and here we go. We have a business name. But with doing that, that was the only thing that we were consistent in. We didn't have anything that made us stand apart and any kind of branding or anything else. Like, yeah, we had some really cute ideas and we tried things, and that's fine. But it's never too late to start a brand. So that way you can be seen or to revamp your business. You may have a gazillion consultants in your town. And if you do, that's great. You know why? Because you are only the business like you. People buy from you because they have to know, like, and trust. And so you can revamp your business with your business approach, whether that be, you know, how Vickie was talking about how she has a color scheme, and I know that Jackie and Vickie and Trina are all kind of going with like a cartoon look or drawing, where I have Stanley, who is super cute, with that kind of being cutesy wootsy. But, and I'm sorry, my dog's gonna start barking because my neighbor just got home and he feels like he's our security system. So I'm gonna let him do his thing once he realizes the neighbor is getting out of her truck. So I apologize when he starts barking. But so create a brand that sets you apart. Like, but be authentic to you when you create that. Don't create something that you don't love, that you don't feel, because you're going to be marketing that all the time. And that's what you're going to be identified as. So if you don't like script font, if you don't like the color blue, I probably wouldn't use script font and the color blue for your logo, or even for your branding. It doesn't even really have to be for a logo, but I wouldn't use those things. Be authentic to you and be consistent in what you choose to do. So like, what's authentic to us is Stanley. If you look at my social media, Stanley's plastered everywhere. If you look at Stanley's social media, I'm going to say Charlie's social medias. I have been thinking about making Stanley a page, but you can tell that my husband loves our pug and loves pugs in general. So it's just a natural thing to us that's true to who we are. And it just kind of goes along with our branding. But if you're a mom that's always on the go, and that might be your branding and the way to identify, but revamp and connect to your audience with something that's authentic to you, because your people want to get to know you and they want to know what's going on behind the scenes. And that's why they're going to buy from you. It isn't because, oh yeah, we have this great smelling product. I mean, we do. And I know that people, once they smell it, they want to buy it. But it's so much more than that, because this business is a relationship business, and you're going to need those relationships to grow your customer base and to build a stronger business. So when you're considering a revamp, you need to think about, how are you going to communicate with your people, whether it's growing a team, whether it's building your customer base. How in the world are you going to connect with those people? And how are you going to be able to be consistent with that? Because your systems are part of your brand. And I know that a lot of people don't think about that, but when you brand yourself and you have a system, that's how you're going to keep up with that brand and that image that you're putting out. And it's a miracle that he hasn't started barking yet, because she's actually in her house. He's like zonked out. Thank God. Whoo, I think we dodged a bullet. But that's part of your brand, is those systems. It's part of how you're going to market yourself, how you're going to be identified, how you're going to keep up with that. And I know that Jackie preaches this all the time. And I know that we both have said this at one point in time, that we're going to get the word consistency tattooed onto ourselves at some point in time, because it's true. Hey, you have a couple fingers left that we can work on. But, you know, consistency is the true point. Don't be, I mean, not that you can't select other colors or something if it goes good with an image or something, but if you're choosing color schemes and things, stick with that, because that, when they see those colors and things, that's what they're going to think of. When they see a pug, my customers, they think of me. I literally have people tag me into things because they know I'm the crazy pug lady. I'm the dog mom. So choose those things that people are going to remember you by and that are authentic to you, because when it's authentic to you, you can live it out. And it's not like, oh, no, what am I going to do? What, you know, how am I going to do this? Or what am I going to do? Or whatever. And it's okay to be vulnerable. Like when you're in a business, especially in a pandemic where people are social distancing or living life totally different. I mean, Trina and Vickie have just lived through that and they're still dealing with it. I mean, thank God Vickie's recovering and Trina has her hands full with everything going on her end of the side of the spectrum. But when you're in a world like that, it's easy to feel isolated and stuff. And people are looking more than ever to connect with their audience, like to connect with people. And this is like one of the best times for you to build those relationships and connect. And please don't think I'm telling you to talk Scentsy 24/7. You have to build relationships outside of Scentsy, because if they feel like all you want to do is talk to them so you can sell them something, they're not going to engage with you. And every time you come and pop up in their messenger or a text message or a phone call, they're going to run the opposite direction. So stay classy, not spammy. And so I guess that's like the biggest thing that I could say as a consultant that's had to figure out branding. And there was one other thing I was going to mention that Jackie has her own program for her team right now in the Director Drive. And she was talking about branding and like a way, and she had done a couple other trainings, I think, on it too. But refresh your images from season to season. If you're showing the same postcard the whole entire year, every time they see it, they know exactly what it is and they're going to roll their eyes and they're either going to toss it or they're not going to give it a second look. But if you're changing it up and you're showing them, like, I can tell you that now he's awake and he's going to bark. But my postcard that has my story on it from fall and winter is completely different from spring, summer, for this year's like catalog for that season, because I'm talking about, like, I was talking about my story because I had rejoined in that time of like me rejoining and the things I've learned. Now that I've grown so much, my story's been revamped, and I talk about like where we are and how we've been blessed, you know, during hyper growth and other things. So as a human, you evolve, or you should be growing constantly. You should be, finding something that feeds your soul so that way you can grow. So the stuff that you were putting out 6 months ago, a year ago, 5 years ago, wherever you were in your journey, should not be the same thing that you're sending out now, because you're not the same person. And that's when your brand is going to change, because it's going to evolve as you evolve as a person or as a consultant. So that's like my biggest takeaways and thoughts to put out there. And I'm sorry, I know that Vickie has COVID brain. I have like a whole nother thing going on with my autoimmune things. So I'm trying to push the words out. So if I'm stuttering or whatever, I don't mean to. We're working on that. But that would be my biggest takeaways. I don't know if anybody else has anything to say, or Trina has any questions or whatever.
I actually just wanted to say how much I've learned from both of you today. Really good information. I didn't even think about that, Kimber. I need to make, I can't order any right now, but I'm going to do I'll do cardstock. I need to make new thank yous and stuff like I didn't do that yet. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to rebrand my stuff. So like Golden Nugget, I always learn so much from you ladies. That's all I wanted to say is good job.
I got questions for all of you. So Jackie, like, how did you know, like, when to revamp your why? Like, what was like some trigger moments that you were like, okay, my why has changed, so I need to revamp my, business or my signs or colors or schemes or branding or whatever? Like, when was that, like, I guess, aha moment when you knew that, okay, it was time to change?
I will say, because when I first, again, mine was a little bit different because when I joined, it was strictly, I like Scentsy, I want to do it. So I didn't think about branding. I didn't do anything really. And then when I started changing it to, hey, maybe this is a business, I was still working full time. I still really wasn't doing too much branding. And I started to see more and more that because I was starting to do more YouTube videos. And so when I would go on YouTube, I would start to recognize the people I was following that, oh, look, that must be so-and-so because that looks like them, right? That looks like their colors or whatever. And it took me a little while to kind of realize and put two and two together that I needed to kind of do the same thing. So if I really wanted to build this, I needed to be recognizable. So I was like doing the same thing all the time. So people would go, oh, that's the Scentsy girl. Same way like we wear a shirt when we go out, right? So if you go to the same store all the time, you're always wearing a Scentsy shirt. Next time you come in, they're gonna be like, ha, you're the Scentsy person. I remember you. So it was probably around that time that I first started like even just coming up with something. I don't even know if I necessarily did a color scheme or anything like that. I just started doing graphics, really. That's really kind of where I started, was getting on Instagram and playing around with things. And then when I hit director was when I really focused in. I was like, I've got to figure out a brand for myself because I never really, like, I love Kimber has Stanley, right? Vickie has always been the cozy, and she did the retro for a while, right? They were so very recognizable. And I was like, I don't have that. What do I have? So I just started just doing colors and kind of sticking with the same kind of graphics. And that's really when it started for me. And I just kind of, ever since then, every new catalog change, I just kind of did a new update of things. So it was like, oh, so obviously I can look back now and be like, okay, now I know how to do it. Back then I was like, no. So it definitely evolves with you as you evolve. And I really think still to this day, like I get the most inspiration from the fellow Scentsy consultants, right? That I look for the ones that are killing it, right? And so I look to see, okay, how are they doing things? How can I make that part of me? What can I do to kind of pull that into myself? So I really get inspiration from a lot of different places.
Thank you. That was good, Jackie. I like that.
I kept
It's
waiting for you to say, like, you're the weakest link, goodbye. When you said that, I have a question for all of you, and I was like, okay, who's in the hot seat first? And then I thought, you're the weakest link, goodbye. I'm sorry, I just had to add that.
I'm just going in rows, but Vickie, like, how do you get, like, from your cartoon character? Is that always been you, or did that change, like, because the catalog is more cartoony? Like last season's catalog was kind of like floweries and purples, and it wasn't like, it didn't really have, it had a theme but didn't have a theme, where this one is more like a cartoon character. Even Heidi and Orville's Facebook page is like cartoonish. So is that why you went with that, or has that just always been your thing?
I actually, I'm like Jackie. I see what other people are doing. I was on the director page and someone had posted that. It was in the fall, or actually summer of last year. And I saw someone had posted that they had gotten one done, and they said they got it done on Etsy. And so I loved it. I thought it was cute. She was actually really, really good. So I've had it for a while. So, but basically, I just have myself completely cut out and I could put that on anything. So, and I think it looks like me. I told her I didn't want to be skinny, but I still wanted to be fluffy, but I wanted to look good. And I think she nailed it. I think she nailed it. She did it in the first try, but a lot of people are using her. She's really good, but I just thought it was cute. And that's why I used it, but it actually goes really perfect with this season. So I'm going to use it.
Well, and to tag on to that, so I have a follow-up question for you, Vickie. So how did you decide to change your branding? Because you've gone through a couple different branding phases.
I've gone through some, yeah.
So how did you make that decision?
You know what? I live in LA and I was into the rockabilly scene and all that. And then you know what? I'm aging and I'm just tired. Like I don't have time for all that getting my hair. No. And then I never thought I would like farmhouse anything. I live in Los Angeles. And I used to say, Ray Dunn is so ugly. I'm obsessed now. So like, I think I just matured actually. To be honest with you, I think my taste matured. And I just kind of like, I still love retro on somebody else. I'm too tired for all that. I'm too tired, too busy. Ain't nobody got time for all that hair. No, messy bun, getting it done. So I think I just kind of got like, I matured out of that stage. Really, I think that's what it was. And now give me the chickens and the cows, and never in a million years did I think I would like that. Never. I love it. So I think that's what it is. That's my answer. That's my final answer.
So Kimber, like what programs are good to like help you kind of revamp? Because I know Kimber, you're all about like graphics and designing and you're really techno about different things. So what things are out there that like would help a person coming into this that you could go to that are either free or fairly cheap that a person isn't paying an arm and a leg for to help them like succeed in revamping their business?
I know that Jackie's also very techy too, but I'm looking up because I want to make sure I'm giving you the name of this app correctly that I've also been using. Okay, so Jackie knows the first thing I'm going to say is Canva. I use Canva all the flipping time. There's a free version and there's a paid version. But the reason why I love Canva, I do use the pro version because I'm in Canva all the time. It feels like almost everything that I generate for my business, marketing, or even for my team. Heck, I've used it for church related things because my uncle's a priest, and then I've helped like my local church up, well, not my local, but like my home church from up north that I was raised in. I've done some things for them. And so I've used it for so many different things. So I know the possibilities of what it can do. Like even when I go to make our thumbnails for our Transformation Thursday videos, I go into Canva. And there's so many possibilities of what you can do. You can like, in it, if you type in the format of what size you want to work with, I don't have to worry about the sizing or anything. It's going to go instantly into that size. And it's going to be in, you can also like revamp the size too and reformat it if you want it to be saved into something else. So, and I think that what I like about Canva so much is that to me, it's user friendly. And it's user friendly. And the best way to learn how to use Canva is just to play around in it. And I have to give out a shout out to Superstar Director Kimberly Polito, because that's even how I found out about Canva in the first place. But I know that if you Google Canva, you'll find all kinds of YouTube videos on how to do, how to use it. And I do plan on creating like a masterclass on that, and that'll be uploaded. So I would say that there's also an app that I use called, I think it's called Photolab. I'm double checking here to make sure. I moved my apps around and I don't know why I decided to do that, but I did. So,
Well,
but it is,
I was going to throw in there too that for consultants too, we do have, Scentsy has a actual license or agreement
with
with
Photofy.
Photofy.
Yeah,
That's a great help.
So when I'm doing like my images that like from my own pictures and I want to add like a pop of color or something, there's all kinds of things you can do in this app. And this one is free and there's also a pro version, but it's called Photolab. I'll try to show you my phone. I don't know how well you guys will be able to see that, but this is what the app looks like. I have an Apple phone, but it has a girl on it and yeah. So that's one app I recommend. And then we have the Photofy. If you have not used Photofy yet, if you go into your workstation under the account tab, there's a free trial for Photofy, and there's all kinds of marketing images and things in there that you can use. It's something that I kind of want to start toying around with just so that way I'm more familiar with it. So that way, as my team grows and my team starts asking me, I can use, I'll know something about it and I won't be like, I have no idea. The other thing I know that Jackie uses, and she can probably talk more about it, is Over, because I know that she creates a lot of stuff in Over. So those would be probably like my biggest things, because I mainly use Canva because it's so versatile, it's user friendly, and I absolutely just love Canva. But Jackie, I don't know if you want to talk about Over.
Over, yeah, it is an app and it is available on Android and Apple now, I believe. I'm Apple, so that's usually where I started out. But Over does have a free version. It also has a pro version, just like all the others. And my best advice to somebody who's just starting out or wanting to kind of test the water, see what works for them, see what their favorite is going to be, is honestly, I always say date the app. Get the free version, download the free version. Do not pay for it until you really feel comfortable that it's user friendly for you. Like everybody's got a different learning curve, right? So everybody has a different experience. Like Kimber, and I know a lot of my other friends, they love Canva. They swear by Canva. I swear by Over. For me, it's just super easy. I can make a graphic in like 5.6 seconds, really, because I've just been doing it for so long on my phone. But if you put me on Canva, it's gonna take me maybe like 15-30 minutes to make that same kind of a graphic. So try the free versions, try the Photofy, definitely, because you'll get a lot of Scentsy images on there, which is really cool for your business, especially if you're looking for inspiration for that. But then if that doesn't work for you, move on, try some other apps. There's hundreds of apps out there. And when in doubt, if you really like one, but you're like, how do they get it to do that? I YouTube everything. I will YouTube the crap out of an app when I'm trying to figure out how to use it. And I know that Over is really good. They've got their own YouTube page and they put out their own tutorials, which is really great. I believe Photofy does the same thing. I don't know about Canva, but I know those do, and I'm sure other apps do the same. So always just get the free version first. Find what you like and then go from there.
I think I want to add on to that, as Jackie was talking about like how she loves Over and how like I'm really big in Canva. That just goes to show that not everything that somebody uses has to be for you. You find out what works best for you and you use it. It doesn't matter if no other consultant's using it. If it works best for you and you are able to get your stuff done and do what you want to do, use that. Don't feel guilty because, or feel bad because you weren't using something else that somebody else was using.
I want to add something too, because Canva, I use Canva. Canva can be a little confusing if you're not tech savvy. There's one called WordSwag. WordSwag is easy and it has a free and a paid. It has text. You can make like You can make graphics on that too, and it's an easier app. So that's one I wanted to throw out for that's what I started with.
Great addition. I totally forgot about that. In fact, I just went back and started using Word Swag because I used it for a long time because it's so easy. You just pick your font and it will automatically do it for you. It's like, I'm awesome. And I recently got back into it. I did go ahead and get the paid version for a while, so I'm trying out all those fun features, but that's a really good one.
I would say, like, and I know I want to say Jackie said something earlier about this. Sorry, I have the brain of like 5 squirrels today. I apologize. But learn and pull from other consultants. If they're doing something that like really inspires you, or you're thinking, oh, like that was amazing. Matter of fact, this week, I saw Jessica Villarreal's Facebook stories, or she did on Instagram, and it linked up to Facebook. And I messaged Jackie and I'm like, have you seen her stories? I'm like, this woman's a genius. Like, why didn't I think of that? I mean, that's totally okay. Make it your own. I mean, if somebody inspires you, that's okay. Use that. Don't copy exactly what they do just because you're like, oh, they did it and it's going to work for me. No, like, but if it inspires you or it's going to make your business easier and they're showing you a way to do it, then do it, but make it authentically you. And I'll keep saying that until probably till the day I die. Be authentic to you. It's one of our core values and it's there for a reason.
So this is kind of a question for all of you. When or like how often, I guess, should you go back and really rethink your why? Like how often do you guys personally do that? Just like for someone new coming in that just started, okay, so this is like a new catalog for me. So I kind of revamped things with help. Kimber helped me a lot because I was like, I don't know what to do. And then with the whole COVID thing and then all that, but that was kind of like a clicker for me, like, all right, new catalog. So does everybody kind of redo it at a new catalog, or is it just like your own personal, like when should you really go back and be like, okay, when do you really need to do this, I guess?
Okay. Your why changes, and it changes throughout like just your life. You know what I mean? Like, for me, when I first started, it was because Scentsy was fun and I liked the product and blah, blah, blah. And now my why has developed to where, hey, this is a business. If I keep working it a few more years, I can retire from my job that I hate and move to Arizona, which I love. So now that's my why. That was so not my why when I clicked join. So your why is just like a natural progression. You don't have to redo your why just because it's a new catalog. Your why changes as it changes. So that's just a natural progression of like, with Jackie, it was like, okay, she started, and at first she was just doing it because it was fun. And then now that's how she lives. Like her why is completely different. I'm gonna let her go into that, but you know what I mean? So it's just, for me, I think it's a natural progression. I don't think you need to just change your why just to change your why, because it has to come from, sorry, I got a call. Has to come from your heart, and so that's my final answer.
I love it. My final answer is going to be, yeah, I agree. I think the why goes along with your life and what works for you. And I've seen over my years on my team specifically, I've seen people come in hot, right? Like they're like, I want to be a director in 6 months and I'm going to do this. And they go crazy. And then they promote and they do all the things. And then for whatever changes in their life, right? They get a kid or they get married or they move or whatever. And then suddenly they're like, no, Scentsy just isn't my thing anymore, right? And it's like, wait a minute, where did you go? So I think it really does have to move with you and grow with you. And it's kind of a natural progression, but it goes the same with like rebranding and everything. I personally do it just because for me, I'm type A and I need change. every so often to just keep me sane, I guess. But I like to do that just because I know that I'm putting out more materials to market a new catalog. So I want it fresh. I want my customers to go, oh, this is new. What changed, right? Oh, there's a new catalog. I see. And so that's why I personally do it. But I mean, yeah, you don't have to do it every time there's a new catalog. I think if it feels right, go for it. And the same thing with the why, right? If that's going to change, that's going to change. And that may also change with your branding and your marketing, right? So if you start this business with no children and 3 years into the business, you now have 2 little ones, right? You're now going to be like, hey, I'm a mom and I work my Scentsy business, right? Your business is going to look much different from before you had children. My Madison was 2.5 years old when I joined. She was crawling all over me in videos and I was doing my business and trying to work around her schedule. Now she's 11, right? Now she just hibernates in her room and I see her on mealtime. So everything can change. And so your business and everything kind of moves along with you and your life and the opportunities that you really want to go for, because this business can offer you a lot. Look at what it's doing for people. And when you see the ability that it gives you and the opportunity, sometimes that's a big driving factor to go, hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to put my back into it and I'm going for it.
Right. I'm actually living off my Scentsy business right now because I haven't had the time to do my paperwork for disability. So, this business can give you a lot. See the income disclosure.
So my final answer, look what I started. When I first joined Scentsy a little over 5 years ago, when we joined, I didn't have a concept of really what a why was. So my thought was, oh, I'm going to make a bunch of money. Well, that's fine, but why are you going to make a bunch of money? Your why should be specifically defined on why you want to do that. Like, why do you want to make a bunch of money? Is it so your family can have more freedom or have more time to go do things, for you guys to be able to go travel more or pay a bill or to pay your kids extracurriculars or let your dog go to Pug Fest in Milwaukee? Can't confirm or deny that that's going to happen, but so you never know what your what your purpose is always going to change as things in your life has changed, and as Jackie and Vickie have both said. So the way that I look at my why is, before the start of the new year, I like to look at it. I don't make resolutions because who keeps a resolution? I know very, very few people that actually keep it. Matter of fact, January 21st is the date that most people quit their resolutions, if that tells you anything. So I don't like to make resolutions. I make goals, and I make like short-term and long-term goals and that kind of thing. But I think about my why. And I can tell you, Jackie being my sponsor, I've learned a lot about creating a why. And so now I know how to formulate one better. And I'm more detailed and specific, like my why of why I do this. I mean, my why is different than Charlie's why. Even though we do this together, my why is so he can be retired and be able to be home with us, and that we can give Stanley the backyard that he deserves. And you shouldn't be making your why geared to a title. Like, I do want to be director, but for me, it's so much more than an income or status or anything. It's me being able to change other people's lives, because I know that I have a bigger team and a bigger leadership opportunity once I get to that title. Not that I don't have leadership opportunity now, because good Lord, I'm I'm living leadership opportunity at this point. I'm like oozing it out my ears. But with that being said, I know that that's what it's going to bring me to. So don't make your why around, oh, I want to be this, or I want to make a bunch of money. You need to know why. It needs to be something that stirs up inside you some sort of emotion. Because if you don't feel any emotion about your why, it's not going to keep you motivated and you're not going to stick with it. So that's what I would encourage when looking at your why. So as you evolve, or you're not feeling, that stirring in, I'm going to say spirit, because I don't know what else to call it, your gut, whatever. If you don't feel that stirring inside of you with that emotion, then it probably is time to revamp your why, unless you're like Jackie and say, oh, new season, got to change. Yeah, I mean, whatever happens, I mean, whatever your personality is, but just be specific with it and be intentional with it, because that's going to be your driving force.
The only other question I have is for Vickie. You said you got your little cartoon icon off of Etsy. Can you drop a comment or something, or send Kimber the information on how you went about
Yes.
and who you got to do that?
Yes. I'll send the link.
Cool.
I'll send the link. She's really good. She's really good.
Other than that, I don't have any more questions.
Does anybody have anything else that they want to add before, with what we're talking? Okay. So I guess I'm going to end this and we will be back next week with a brand new topic. Hopefully we know more about that spring incentive trip. I didn't mean to say incentive trip. Let me rephrase it. That incentive, the spring incentive. I just have trip on my brain. So, and so we'll be back with that. So thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week.